to harmony. Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phygital, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds. This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phygital competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phygital experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of Phygital sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top Phygital tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting Phygital era. So stay tuned, join our global Phygital community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from that very short break here in that video. Kim, we just witnessed the first series of the day, of course. Like we said, it was RQ Hoshi sending home Burmese Ghouls out of the tournament in a sweep. And now ahead of us, you know, we have the next matchup that I know a lot of people have been waiting to see unfold here, and that is going to be AP Bren and HomeBois. So, Burger Kim, now that we've had a couple of minutes here to reset, how we feeling?
I had a very quick break actually, and then dashed back in. I was like, oh no, is it time? Yeah, it's nice you're gonna do this solo. Yeah, actually got back here in time. Just, you saw me adjusting my microphone, but just in time to see this rematch actually from the side of AP Bren and HomeBois.
Did you cast that?
A rematch from, yeah, I did. Like
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I cast that one. It was a 2-0 for, yeah, 2-0 in favor of AP Bren actually.
What can we say about AP Bren? You know, it's just, I feel
much
like a lot of people, much has been said about the squad of AP Bren. And, you know, I have to say, as someone who has watched a lot of their world tour in a way, they are a team that just, you know, how they play in game, it's very apparent that their synergy is the same outside of the game. And I feel like that's one of the things that makes them a very strong team. And
yeah,
I want to say, like, a lot of the teams are probably like that, you know, to a degree. That's what they work for. That's what the coaching staff and everyone really tries to build that environment for these players. But it's very apparent play style of AP Bren, I feel like. So for HomeBois specifically, it's like, you know, for HomeBois, based off even what we saw yesterday, you know, sweeping Deus Volt, by the way, a team that surprised everybody in M5 even. That says a lot, you know, for HomeBois. So it's like they are in a way, I know it's been a day, but like they're on fire. You know, they're feeling pretty good about what they did yesterday against Deus Volt. And they did it in, I think if I remember, yeah, it was not super quick games, but I think there was one a little bit longer, closer to the 20-minute mark, and then one that was under the 15-minute mark. And for HomeBois, what I really liked is what they did in their second game yesterday, where they pulled out this lineup that is not a lineup that you see all the time. I know it's popped up similarly in other games, you know, but it's a very magic damage heavy lineup, and I believe the picks were they had Harith in the gold lane, they had an Aurora in the mid lane, they had the Guinevere, and that interaction alone between the Harith and the Aurora worked out really well, because you build into an interaction between having Harith with the Starlium Scythe, you know, the damage and how his kit works, and then of course you have Aurora. I think one of the first items from there was like a Genius Wand or something. So like when they clashed in these fights, the magic damage was so overloaded, And it was tough to deal with. And it was a very quick game, you know, against Deus Fulton. They had a hard time dealing with it. And then they threw in a vendetta. And it's like, then it's just like chaos everywhere around the map. Yeah, it's tough to deal with, right? So I like the fact that HomeBois, and the reason why I'm pulling this up and saying this is I like that HomeBois is not afraid to go outside of the box, because that's exactly what they have to do against a team that is AP Bren. This is a team that loves to go outside of the box and do weird things if they want to. This is back even when you talk about flexibility, where it's like, yeah, we don't care. We'll put Frederick in the mid lane, you know. And I know we've seen something along those lines, like throughout the games of the future so far. So I feel like, if anything, HomeBois has to go outside of that box more against a team like AP Bren. And if they want to get to that 3-game series or possibly send AP Bren home.
Yeah, definitely. I think for the side of HomeBois here is that you know picking up these heroes kind of can surprise your opponent, right? And for somebody who has been in the scene for quite some time, even in last year, right? Like, you've seen a lot of VODs about AP Bren. They're everywhere. They got like the SEA Games, just to mention a few, the MPL, and of course the M5 World Championship. So there is a lot of things that you can actually see in their VODs, what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with, what do they prioritize banning out. And for the side of AP Bren, they're also very I would say they research a lot about their opponents too. So it kind of seems like they're also very calculated too when it comes to their drafting phase. Not really a lot of time like to go out of the box, knowing that it's going to be Coach Trev here. I actually had a really good conversation with Coach Trev. I learned a lot of things about him, like off
Tell us
cam.
about
He's
it, Cam.
actually,
we have plenty of time.
He's like super. He's a very serious person, and he takes like he's very competitive. Like he's been to like different tournaments for different titles. So he's like, okay, yeah, I want to come in a tournament prepared. I know I haven't released this content yet, but yeah, that's what he told me.
Oh,
basically.
so this is
he wants to come in,
like a
like
unreleased.
I haven't released this. Yeah, unreleased content. So yeah, maybe you guys want to check it out eventually. But yeah, he likes to come in prepared. So you know, sometimes if you prepare so hard for something, and once it reaches a point, okay, HomeBois brings something out, Fredrin, okay, he might think, okay, this might go to like jungle or XP, but man, you rock it in the mid lane, that kind of like throws you off, right, for everything that you've prepared. And that's something that definitely, I do agree with you, that HomeBois definitely needs to do that. It might be like off meta picks, it might be something that you don't really see that often, but if it throws your opponents off, right, that's something really big.
I think that's like, I know, because you mentioned, you know, the rematch that this is and everything else, and I think really when you get to playoffs, that's kind of what you expect some of these masterminds behind the players to come up with. You know, it's like, what have they been preparing? What have they been doing with the homework? Because even a video, I think it was a video that we showed, either it was a video that was showed yesterday or it was on the social media from Games of the Future, where like there's little snippets of the teams and like them preparing and stuff. And we know that, you know, that all these teams really do take that time before their matches to like study their opponents playing in their games before them. So obviously AP Bren saw what HomeBois did yesterday, and they're like, yeah, you know, we can respect that and kind of approach that. And I think that's what makes this matchup so exciting with AP Bren and HomeBois, because it was, you know, G the Ico was asking me yesterday, like, for that region specifically over in Malaysia, you know, where HomeBois really, over time, over the seasons, like they surprised a lot of people in their improvements over the seasons, right? Because that was also a region that was, I mean, there's specific teams and players that were so dominant for so long, you know, and then you have some of these guys, of course, HomeBois and everything really rising up, and they have a huge also just support, like social media wise, and like the people involved in that organization. So it was really, and not to mention, I love the name HomeBois. You know, it's such a cool team name, by the way.
It just rolls off your tongue like that, like HomeBois, right?
Does,
it sounds like a team you can approach. I actually been to Malaysia, and I've actually casted the HomeBois game, but with a different roster, right? I want to look at the roster too of HomeBois here. They're playing with Nets and Udil here in this lineup. There were times in the start of the tournament where it was a little bit shaky, like chemistry. Like, this is the time to build it, right? I think this was the first series that they've ever had was up against AP Bren. So there were times that okay, I'm not so sure what went on in the clash, or like somebody shot called and it went differently. So maybe I think this time it's a bit more fleshed out since we're already like going to like the semis already of the tournament.
Yeah.
So I think so far what they've showed yesterday, I mean, definitely AP Bren, they're coming in this prepared, and I think they're gonna leave no stones unturned here for this particular matchup since it's gonna be a rematch, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because you know, you brought it up already, and I guess this is a hot topic of discussion, and the fact that HomeBois, yeah, does have nets here, the impact wise that he could have on this lineup, because you, like you said, it was a different roster, but you casted some of the games personally over in Malaysia, and you've seen, I'm sure you've kept an eye on them.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, is the play style still pretty much that Malaysian play style, and then it's nets adapting to it, or is it the opposite way where like nets brought something from and just kind of this and that Malaysian, you know, flavor, if you will? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Nets pretty much fits to like the Malaysian flavor of what HomeBois has. Like the first time I went to Malaysia, and everybody there like for the casters are like,
Their
don't be
food's so
surprised
good.
because yeah, apart from their food. Yeah, they were telling me, okay, yeah, don't be surprised if you see the clash, like it goes, like it keeps on going, right? Like sometimes if you see the clash, they are not, I wouldn't say they're not that disciplined, but it's more of like they want to go for these all-out clashes. And I think for Nets, he's that kind of goal laner that is not afraid to like first pick his hero. Like we've seen it several times, like even in the game of AP Bren and HomeBois, like they prioritize the Harriet when all of the other marksmen were still available. Like he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not go for that. Let's go for my comfort pick Harriet, which actually did pretty well in some of the games. They just weren't able to close it out. I think it was all about like the map control that the opponent had, but eventually
Yeah.
like what Nets actually brings to the table here is kind of like the Filipino style, right? The discipline of like taking in the objectives, like to maybe retreat if the clash
You were
is
gonna
not
say- you were gonna say
necessary.
backdoor.
Yeah.
You were gonna
Oh, a
say
little
it
bit
because
of
that's
that
what
too.
Nets
A
is
little
known
bit of that
for. You
too.
know, he's known for that, right? Like, how many times? Like, I don't actually know the statistic for Nets, but how many times people have literally said nothing but Nets because he's